Hi, I'm Bradley Grinnan, life coach and mentor and founder and creator of Own Your Life. Have you ever had something happen to you in life and it had an extremely negative impact on you? An unwanted life experience. And you feel like you've not fully recovered since. In essence, you feel stuck. If you've ever been let down, betrayed, cheated on, divorced, financially ruined, bankrupt, faced foreclosure, hurt, stuck in a job that you hate, or fill in the blank, and you're still trying to figure out how to move forward, then what I'm about to share is definitely for you. Now, maybe I didn't mention your exact circumstance, but you haven't yet figured out how to be fulfilled in the midst of a major unwanted life experience. Or minor for that matter. Maybe there's something in your life you're just not happy about and you feel like there's no way forward. Maybe you feel like you're stuck in a job and you're unable to find something new, or in a negative pattern you just can't get past. I'd like to share a story with you. See, I used to be the biggest cynic. As a child, I was always playing and using my imagination. Big Star Wars fan, obviously, but rarely was I carefree. I always saw what could go wrong, and I expected it. Now, I didn't call myself cynical, because seriously, whoever wants to be known as a glass is half empty kind of person? But that's what I was. You see, I thought it meant that I was smart. I couldn't have been more wrong. When I was in high school, there was a skit on Saturday Night Live called Stuart Smalley, where Al Franken would play the main character, and he made the now famous lines, "I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me." Now that was a terrible remake on my behalf, but this caricature is how I viewed all optimists. I had a secret contempt for people who were always positive and chose to see the good in everything. I thought they were blind and a little stupid for not seeing the world for the way it was, a harsh place. Now, this feeling that everything could fall apart, it plagued me into adulthood. I was always playing it safe and living life small because, well, I always was looking for what could go wrong and preparing for it as if it was inevitable. Again, I thought I was being smart, so I would suppress the adventurous side of myself and rarely take risks because all of the negative possibilities that I would forecast. Now, somewhere along the line, that forecasting of poor turnouts, it morphed into a belief that success wasn't possible. I thought at best I could hope to be mediocre at whatever I applied myself to and learn to be happy with that outcome. Now, this may sound crazy to you, but it felt so comfortable to me. And I lived this way long into adulthood. And eventually, I became aware that I wasn't happy. There was something in me that longed for more in my life, but I had no idea how to make those changes. So I prayed for change within myself. I was hoping that God, the God I believed in, would just kind of zap me and everything would change. That I would just miraculously wake up and find myself living a different life. God didn't give me what I wanted, the way I wanted God to. And I've discovered that the divine rarely works that way, and I'm actually grateful for this now, but I wasn't then. I was at my lowest point when I had one of the most remarkable revelations of my life. I had been laid off recently and forced to work 3 jobs that honestly felt like they were crushing my soul. My wife and I were getting ready to move out of the only house that we had ever owned because it was being foreclosed on. We were seeking legal counsel for bankruptcy, actually. And the only thing I ever gave my all to, my marriage, slipped through my fingers with these 6 words: I can't be with you anymore. It was the beginning of the end of my marriage and my life as I had known it. It was a brutal time for me. And to make matters worse, the stress I was under caused me to break out in shingles. I was in constant, excruciating pain until it passed. Now, all of those unwanted life experiences, they stacked up on each other like a pile of rubble after the apocalypse. Except for this was my own personal apocalypse. That's when something within me broke. And I heard these words echo through the empty halls of my life. How's that working for you? It was like the ground opened up beneath me and I was swallowed up. I began to see my worldview for what it really was. A finely constructed and risk-free structure of long-held and carefully formed limiting beliefs, glued together with cynicism, negativity, and a play-it-small mentality. It wasn't working for me. My limiting beliefs, which felt so safe for so long, had pervaded my finances, my relationships, my health, and my ability to make an impact in the world. I didn't know how to change them or even where to start, but I knew that something had to change. So I made a decision. I chose in those moments to change my thought patterns no matter what the cost. And as it was, I had nothing left to lose anyways. And it was scary. I had become so comfortable with my old thought patterns, I didn't know where to start. But I was resolute to make the necessary changes. Now maybe you're only facing or have only faced just one of those unwanted life experiences that I listed out. But it still feels like you can't move beyond it, like you don't know how to move forward. I want to let you know that you can, that there is a process for overcoming unwanted life experiences. And it's pretty clear, and the process will take you further down the road of life and actually raise your quality of life. Listen, difficult things happen to everyone, and everyone can come out on the other side with a higher quality of life. However, many get stuck. Some make it through because they know the process, which is awesome. Others make it through stumbling by accident. But many do get stuck somewhere in the journey and never resolve the experience. It becomes like a weight on their back. Well, today I'm happy to tell you that I have the kind of freedom that I only dreamed of in the past. I have my own business that I find rewarding and I love waking up to every day. I feel like I add value to the world through my work. I don't worry about how I'm going to make ends meet. I have learned to be happy with who I am and to take calculated risks which are necessary to live a higher quality of life. I have deeper relationships and a deeper understanding of my relationship with the divine, and I allow myself to love more and to be loved more. I thought the end of my marriage and my finances was going to be the end of me. Instead, I chose to see it as a new beginning, and the best part is that my story isn't finished. It's more like the beginning of an incredible sequel. And my glass is no longer half empty. As cliche as it sounds, it's running over. It just is. Now I'm not brilliant. I didn't intuitively know the way forward in my own life. I had to do a lot of work. I paid a lot of money. I spent a lot of time and energy talking to people and figuring out the process for overcoming my unwanted life experiences. But it worked. And I'd like to share that process with you. So let me ask you something. Those things you've been doing to cope with your unwanted life experiences, trying to get unstuck, how is that working for you? Do you still feel stuck? You can resolve to overcome those experiences, and you can find the courage to create a life for yourself that you previously had thought not possible. But you have to make that choice, and it is your choice. Walter Anderson once said, and this is one of my favorite quotes, "Bad things do happen. How I respond to them defines my character and the quality of my life. I can choose to sit in perpetual sadness, immobilized by the gravity of my loss, or I can choose to rise from the pain and treasure the most precious gift I have, life itself." Again, I was a huge cynic and skeptic. I didn't believe that it was in my nature to make these kinds of choices. But I simply got so tired of status quo and being stuck, feeling miserable, that I determined to suspend a lot of my beliefs and dare to hope that I could change. It wasn't easy at first, but I started with the choice to believe. So I made that choice, and it didn't feel natural, and it didn't become my immediate default thought. But once I made that choice, every time I thought about my circumstance, I continued to make that choice again and again. And you can do that too. In my next video, I would like to talk about how you make that choice, what you can do to not only make a concrete decision to move forward, but what are the action steps that you can choose that will empower you and help you along in this journey. And later, I'll be sharing that process that I spoke about so that you too can make your way to the other side. Would you do me two favors? First, would you comment in the space below and let me know either your greatest takeaway from this short video or what you feel like is holding you back the most at present. Second, would you like this page? And if you can think of someone who's having a tough go of it, or you feel like maybe they're just stuck, would you share this video with them? I look forward to sharing with you in the next video how to make that decision to move forward and begin a new journey, one that you can be proud of, that can make you fulfilled, and you can find your way to get unstuck. Thank you so much for your time.